Happy Black Friday, Puremixers. So great to see you guys again. It's been a while since we've done the stream here, and very happy to be back. So this is super exciting. Today we are going to be watching Fab mix an entire track in 1 hour or less, depending on how he's feeling. And he's going to be using all plugins from the Puremix plugin suite, which is going to be crazy. So this is all stuff that's included in your Pro member subscription when you're a Puremix member. And you can check that out at puremix.com. Before we get started, we have a couple exciting things, being that this is Black Friday, and normally you would be out storming some sort of retail shop or stampling over people at Walmart. But since we have the internet, and this is an internet company, you guys get to stay at home and watch Fab do a mix and hear about some discounts. So first thing up is we have discounts running on Puremix, and you can get up to 40% off during the sale on your entire Puremix subscription. That includes everything like Mixtank, that includes Mix Up, Process.audio plugins, everything in our plugin suite, and over 700 videos with some of the best people in the world who make records, plenty of tutorials and stuff like that. So it's the best time of the year to sign up for a Puremix subscription. Definitely go check it out. We also have sales running on our Process.audio plugins. So you can see that we have up to 50% off on Comp 2, 50% off on Spice Rack, Ripple, Sugar, Decibel, and Filter Factory, our newest plugin. So if you're unfamiliar with those, definitely go over to Process.audio, check it out. And don't sleep on Protility. Protility is amazing, and it's also free. So that's cool. All right. Go check out our sales. It's good stuff. And without further ado, here is the amazing Fab Dupont. How's it going, Fab?
I'm good.
Nice.
How's everybody? Very nice. Digesting. Very good. Very good.
You have to tell us about French giving.
French giving was no turkey, because French people eat the turkey on Christmas Eve. La dinde de Noël. It's not la dinde de Thanksgiving, because we don't have Thanksgiving. So turkey is for Christmas. Thus, I made an enormous leg of lamb. It was lovely.
Nice.
So voila. But today, now that we have all digested our stuff, I'm going to mix a song. I'm going to mix a song using only the plugins from the Puremix plugin suite. And
I have a question. All of this
I have
is
an
great,
answer.
This audio mixing stuff and everything.
Yeah.
Is there a Black Friday in France?
It's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's coming. All French people who want to buy American products, wait until Black Friday. That's the way.
Yeah.
So
There's no
no, il n'y a
crazy
pas de
crowds and-
vendredi noir. No.
No stamping crowds? nothing?
No. Not that I know of. I haven't been in France for Black Friday in a long time, so maybe it's evolved. We should ask
Okay.
the French team if they do that, but I don't think so.
Yeah, you guys are
And
so
they're
classy.
definitely working on. Everybody was working at the office yesterday, so
Right.
it's a sign.
Awesome.
Here's something that's really exciting. I have been the idea of finding the best plugins in the world and including them in the Puremix membership was an idea I had from the very beginning of Puremix, and it took me a while to organize. I called all my friends and I got all the plugins, and lately it's crystallized into this set of plugins that you can, which was the original vision, you can mix a whole record with. So I thought, hey, let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
So that's
I'm gonna
the
put that on
purpose of this
screen
meeting. What
right
are you going to
now.
put on the screen? You have the
Yeah, I'm going to show everybody here what is included in the plugin suite. So I've got that page up right now, and you can kind of see all
I see it.
the plugins in here. So this is what you have to work with today, right?
Yeah, that's it. I'm not going to use anything else. And I don't know that I'm going to use everything. We'll see, because here's another interesting thing is I don't really know this song. I heard a verse of it this morning, and that's it. And what I've done so far, as you probably can see on your screen once Mark switches to the screen, you see that it's not that many tracks. And there's a kick tight, kick beef. I thought we said lamb. Kick sub, snare top, snare bottom, 2 toms that are clearly gated because there's nothing going on in between the toms, or they overdubbed, I don't know. An overhead, a bass, a guitar part that seems to have 2 different sound versions of the same part, 3 other guitar parts, 2 keys that look like 2 different versions of the same, and 2 vocals that look like, one says light comp, one says lighter comp. I think I'm going to use the lighter one. And that's it. So all I've done, so that we don't get bored watching me do kitchen work, is I basically dropped all the stems that I got from a Dropbox link into a session, and then I organized it in the way I like, which is bass drum to the left, vocals to the right, and then I did my color coding, which you'll know if you're on Puremix. And if you're not on Puremix, you should go, and I'm told it's on sale. So yeah, so I propose we do and then just to tell you the structure of the session, the way I've organized it. So I have all the audio tracks that are in color, and then to the right in gray you have the mix bus. So every audio track is routed to this aux right here, which is my mix bus. Right now there's nothing on it, and then that mix bus is routed to a track, which is what I'm going to print to, which is why I called it print. And that print is on input, so we can hear what's going to it. And then this monitor thing here is just like a little utility that I put in there to offset the level of the playback, just for me. I don't usually do that if I'm not streaming. And so this song is a cover of Dream On by a band called Honey and Blue. The main artists are Adam Darlin and Stephanie Amber, and the original release master was done by Ruben Cohen. And now I'm going to do my Blitz mix version of this. So the first thing I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to put decibel on the mix bus. That is one of the plugins that is part of the Puremix plugin suite, just so I know where I stand more or less. Those chords are so money. Okay, these people can play, she can sing, this is going to be fun. I foresee some major issues with gain stage because already the verse, raw, with all my faders at 0, is clipping the mix bus that has nothing on it. And here I can tell from the waveform that it gets loud, so if I play this, it's probably going to completely distort. So I'm not even going to take prisoners here. I'm going to select everything and clip gain the whole thing down 6 dBs. Don't tell my mom I did this.
It comes where it goes, and I know it's everybody's sin. You got to lose to know how to live.
We're in a good place. Then we're going to make some choices. It says guitar Argo comp. Let me see. Or guitar Argo no comp. I'll use the comp one. The other one can go to bed. And then there are 2 keys. This one. And this. Maybe there's value when it gets louder. There's a little distortion, that's interesting. I like this better. So it's a little cleaner. It's got, I don't know what they did, but it's cool. Let's listen to her. I know I'm going to use lighter comp, but you always have to listen. So let's go where it's louder.
Come on, dream until your dream come true.
And then the other with a little more comp.
Come on, dream until your dream come true.
I don't know. The other one.
Come on, dream until your dream come true.
Yeah, I'm going to use the lighter comp. If you notice on the light comp, which by the way, this is well recorded, in my opinion. If you hear when she goes do, there's a little like 3K thing that hits your ears a little hard.
Dream come true.
It's literally like making my eardrum go. And I'm listening very quiet. I should tell you, right now I'm listening when I play, so you have a reference. When I play the vocal right now,
Dream come true. Dream.
I'm like in the 60s. Like if somebody were having a conversation behind me, I would have to tell them to shut up, please. I'm trying to make music. So I'm going to use the lighter comp, which means the other one can go to bed. Cool. So this is what we're starting with. The first thing I'm going to do after that, now that we know we don't have any doubles and everything's cool, is I'm going to tell Pro Tools that whenever I create a new track, I would like it to go to the default path being the mix bus to avoid any regrettable mistakes. There you go. Then I'm going to make a folder out of this, and I'm going to call it something super intelligent, like bass drum. Yeah. And then I'm going to take all the drums and make a folder out of them that I'm going to call something super smart too, like drums. And I think that already is going to go a long way towards making things feel good as far as organization goes. And then I'm going to, for the sake of this live stream so that I can really show you stuff, I'm going to mute some stuff. Usually I would work with everything running, but in this particular case, I'm just going to mute everybody and just focus on the drums. So this is just the bass drum. We have, sounds kind of like a D6 or something. Some 47-like thing. And a sub kick. Okay, so let's see how these two work together. I'm not a fan of the inside kick sound. I'm going to switch my solo to latch. All right, it's not super exactly what I would have done, but it's professional. So let's use one of our Puremix plugin suite plugins. I'm going to use the Oxford EQ here and high pass the super bottom of the thing. Get rid of a little bit of the mids. Okay, let's see how this works for us. Drums. Okay. Same, I'm going to use an EQ here and reset it. And the name of the game today is to work fast. I think this sounds, very genuine. I think that the overheads are too wide. Okay, cool. Then I'm gonna compress this bass drum, and I'm gonna use the pulsar 1178. Hear what it does to the bottom of the bass drum. I'll solo the bass drum so you can hear. This is without. This is with. Pretty fierce. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. Not bad. And then I'm going to do a little parallel on the just on the kick and top snare, just to see how that feels. Make a new track, make it mono, and call it D bass drum and snare drum parallel. There you go. And Pro Tools knows to send that to, I didn't do the mono one. Ha! There you go. Boom, shakalaka boom, as they say in that song. And what are we going to do that with? With in parallel. That's cute. Then, so you got to be careful with this to not overuse that, meaning not use too much of the return. Otherwise, your drum sound will rely more on the parallel than the directs, and then you're in for a world of pain about 20 minutes from now. I'm digging this. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to speed up the attack on the parallel a little bit. Just to keep it tight, especially with the bass now, it needs to be a little tighter. Right. Now this is all very dry, even with this. Not super, the space doesn't really tell a story. So let's put our, well, first let's try and give some proprietary space to the instruments themselves. I have this preset that I like. So this is without, with, just so you really hear it, I'm gonna go crazy. I really dig that. And then I want to do the same thing for the bass drum. I have an awesome preset on this that I use all the time to give bass drums a little kind of like more space. Without. Width. Yeah, just a little bit of roundness. Cool. And then we can create a real space by doing, let's call it drum space. How's that for a super smart name? There you go. No, not mono, dude. Pay attention. Remove. Let's make that a new track. Let's call it, not make the same mistake twice. Maybe I had a little too much non-turkey. Stereo drum. I still don't know how to type. There you go. And 2016. Which, I'll have you know, is part of the subscription. Yep. Thank you, Eventide. This is an awesome reverb. I think that this is cool, but it needs more opening, so I'm gonna raise it. This sounds good to me. Moving on. So now I need a little bit of a reference of harmony and sustain, so I'm going to jump to the keys. Ooh, the toms. I'm gonna have to come back and look at the toms. So this gives me a good idea of where I am, and that allows me to set up some things on my mix bus. The first thing I'm gonna do on my mix bus is Protility. Free plugin from Process. I strongly recommend you go get it. It's awesome. And it's basically a, it's in the name. It's a utility thing, but it's great. I love using this high pass filter on my mix bus, and I also love monoing the bottom here, and I can choose the frequency, so I could go. I can decide which part of the signal is being monoized at the bottom like this. And it's really practical to make things tighter. It's subtle, but it's nice. Cool. Also, you can use this to offset your gain stage. So, for example, I should have probably gone down further in my in the padding. Remember, I did 6 dBs. Probably should have done 12, but I can do it here because Pro Tools is running floating point, so I don't have any internal clipping issues. I'm happy with how my compressors are on my drums, so I'm just going to give myself another 3 dBs of pad here. Then we're gonna, what am I gonna do? Then we're gonna use our Comp 2, which is an emulation of this awesome VRMU compressor that's in my rack right here. And I'm gonna use that on my mix bus. simple and classy. And then I'm going to use my favorite, this dude, the amazing EQP1A from UAD, to create a little bit of a like joy at the top and bottom. So if I take all the tracks and use the famous Command A to mute everything, it sounded like this when we started. Now we're here. Slow but steady progress. Cool, very nice. I'm happy with this so far. Let's see where we at with our gain stage. Super dynamic, lots of room. I'm probably going to need an EQ here, so I'm going to use the Oxford. At one point, I know I'm going to need to do some forensics, so I'm just going to put it in now. And I don't know if I want to put it before or after the comp 2. I haven't decided yet, but I will. All right, so we're here. The bass so far feels good. I think I should probably high pass the very bottom. Nice. I sense that there's going to be some tweaking of the very bottom of the bass drum, but for now, I can move forward. I'm happy. Let's go back to the session. Let's listen to this guy. Yeah, this definitely needs a little bit of a compression situation. And I want it to be clean because I already have the tone, so I'm going to use this guy. I think this guy would benefit from a little bit of joy. $1988 call wants his delay back. Hold on one second. So check this out. Without a delay, it sounds great. But it's sitting a little bit in front, right? You hear it? Then, with a little bit of Red Bull sauce, cute, I like. Then she's gonna sing, and then this comes in. What else do we have? I get the vibe. It seems to me, with all due respect to the production, that this feels a little raw. So I am going to use, I'm going to use our new baby. Did I know? Yes, it is here. Filter Factory. Let's see if we can find a vibe. That sounds a little too much like a 1970s porn movie. Let's try something else. I like that a lot. So Filter Factory is bananas, by the way. Filter Factory started as just Crybaby emulation because we felt that there was no good ones. We still feel that way. But then once Raphael, who's the main engineer and the main brain behind this plugin, started showing it to us, I was like, dude, we can do so much with this. And so there's a lot more different models. And there's a regular low-pass filter, a high-pass filter, the Crybaby. There's a phaser one that I'm going to show you. It's awesome. There's one that's tuned for bass. The talk one just makes me happy. Plus, I love the logo. Look at that. Smooth is another type of pedal. And then Future is totally whack. I just love this thing. So I'm always drawn to this guy. But what if it were envelope driven? I think that's going to be nice. A little darker, maybe. So original sound with, and then in the song. Cool. Now we add Red Bull. Also needs a little compression. I really like it. Let's see what else we got. Smooth. The Future one. That's too much. The Phaser one. Wow, that's kind of cool. Regular low pass. Nah, we don't need that. Phaser. Maybe if it doesn't go so high. I'm gonna stay with this for now. And then what happens when the fuzz comes in? This gives some serious depth to. Without. With. In the sauce. Oh yeah. Let's see what goes on with the chorus, the solo, sorry. This is without. Very good, but it doesn't have the behind. And now. Do a little cursory check on the gain on our mix button. No problem there. And then there's the star of the show. How are we doing on time? I don't know. It's okay. I'm sure I'll get screamed at if I'm going over. Here we go.
Every time I look in the mirror, all these lines on my face getting clearer. The past is gone. It went by. Like dust till dawn.
Okay, cool. She sounds great. So clearly we're gonna need. It feels a little kind of muddy and not really present. So I'm gonna, do all the cursory checks. I'm gonna high pass the bottom just in case there's an air conditioner or something. Then I do a little bit of gain control.
Every time I look in the mirror, all these lines on my face.
I use the Oxford here because it's completely transparent and it will have literally no impact on the tone within reason. If you're going to do 30 dB, you're on your own, but for anything reasonable, it's cool. And then so when she gets to belt, I mean, come on.
It went by like dust till dawn.
So notice how it takes care of itself, right? So you gain stage here for when she's screaming. Make sure she's in the right spot.
Dream on, dream on, dream on, dream on, dream on.
And then make sure it's not too loud. So you have that you're in the spot here, and then we come to the verse. It's about in the right spot.
Everybody's got their dues in life to pay. Yeah. I know.
Cool. So I think that this is awesome. I think that she needs a little bit of love. So I'm gonna put sugar on.
I'm going to interrupt you there. So we're at about 28 minutes left. So we're going to do a little pause, little break. Remind everybody that's new and just coming into the stream what it is that we're doing here and all of that stuff. It was hard to interrupt you because you were totally getting in a flow state there with the vocal.
Yeah.
So sorry about that. So everybody, welcome. If you're just joining us on the stream, we're here for Black Friday, and we're showing Fab Dupont mixing a track in an hour. He's got about 30 minutes-ish left. And he's using nothing but the plugins that are included in the Puremix plugin suite bundle that comes for every member. You get access to all of these plugins for free. And just without like going into a whole sales pitch here, but this plugin suite was curated largely in part by Fab, and these are all plugins that he uses every day on every mix and chose very carefully. So this isn't just a thing where we're throwing every plugin into the suite that came across our email inboxes and everything. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, I've been working on this for years with all my friends in the various companies who make the cool plugins, and so it takes time to cut deals with these companies, and they all want to do it, but there's legal and all sorts of things. So I really spent a lot of time thinking about what if I only had X 10 plugins to make a record with, what plugins would I like, and these are them. And then the ones that were not available, we made with process, and then they're available to you here also, which is nice. Like Sugar, I'm about to use Sugar. Spice Rack, Decibel, the Filter Factory, which you saw, is really awesome. And then Ripple, which is a great effects machine in general. So I think that the idea is that since there's so much of these plugins on Puremix, it'd be great for you guys to have access to them, so you can learn from them, learn with them, and then refocus on the music more and on the tool less, because the tool is there for you to use with the education around it. That was the idea. And we are getting to the point now where I'm super happy with the suite. There's a few more plugins I'm seeking out, and then if I cannot get our partners to agree, we will make them, and then they will be there for you as a Puremix subscriber, available to use. So voila, that's the idea behind the Puremix plugin suite, to be able to give you tools that you can use, but also teach you how to use them at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Black Friday today, all the process.audio plugins are 50% off, which is insane. And then we're running our biggest sale of the year on Puremix. So this is the time to sign up for a subscription if you are interested in checking it all out. And there's much more than plugins on Puremix. You have access to mixup.audio, which in my opinion is the best revision system for audio. I use it every day, all day long. It's amazing. Really makes life easy. We have MixSync on there where you can submit your own mixes, and Puremix community members will drop comments and try to offer useful advice. Everybody's amazing on there. There's no egos. It's always very positive and very useful. And over 700 video tutorials with some of the best record makers in the world on the platform. So all kinds of stuff to keep you busy over the turkey holiday and Christmas and everything. So definitely check that out, puremix.com. And also special thanks again to Honey and Blue for allowing us to use their cover of Dream On today on the live stream. Amazing stuff.
Yay.
So thank you, Adam.
Super awesome.
Yeah, and great to see everybody in the chat. It's been a while since we've done a live stream, so it's great to see some familiar faces and all that stuff. So, Fab, you have about 30 minutes on the clock.
I should be able to make it, I think, maybe.
All right. At the very particular sound that you're gonna know when to start. That'll be your cue when you can start mixing again. Are you ready?
I was born ready.
All right.
Yep, that's the sound of excellence right there. Okay, here we go. Where was I? Oh yeah, vocal.
Everybody's got their dues in life to pay. Yeah.
She's well recorded. It's really hard to record a singer that has that much range, so somebody did a good job.
Everybody's got their dues in life.
So I drove a little bit of the drive from Sugar on her because I love the sound of that. And I hear a little bit of a mask or like a little around like 300. I'm going to dip.
Everybody's got their dues in life to pay.
Without.
Everybody.
When you hear the everybody, when you hear her how it resonates in her head.
Everybody's got their dues in life.
With.
Everybody's got their dues in life to pay.
And now it's clean, which is awesome. I am hearing that. Well, let's keep going. First, let's create a space for her.
All these lines on my face getting clearer. The past is gone. It went by like dust till dawn.
So I'm not a fan of that vocal booth sound. You know, you can hear the booth. So let's make a little space around her. So let's call it delay. We're gonna craft a little bouncy delay, and then and that's going to mix bus, and then lead verb also. And on the delay one, I press play. Thank you. No, you don't want to. New track, stereo, lead verb. Thank you. So I'm going to use ripple on for the delay. Again, I'm going to solo so you can hear what's going on, but in general, I would not solo.
All these lines on my face getting clearer.
I made a mistake. I'm going to put the delay on the delay track to avoid confusion later when we grow up. Here we go.
All these lines on my face getting clearer. The past is gone. It went by like dust till dawn.
So we started here.
All these lines on my face.
Now we're here.
All these lines on my face getting clearer.
Okay, and then we're going to use the 2016 to create a space that we dig for the tail.
All these lines on my face getting clearer. The past is gone. It went by like dust till dawn. Isn't that the way? Everybody's got their dues in life to pay.
How cool is that? Then probably add a little bit of shine with this guy that I like.
All these lines.
Actually, before I do plug-in inflation, let's see if I dig what sugar.
All these lines.
I do. Let's see.
All these lines on my face getting clearer. The past is gone. It went by like dust till dawn. Isn't that the way? Everybody's got their dues in life to pay. Yeah. I know nobody knows where it comes or where.
I think the bass is cool. I'm sorry, I'm jumping, but this is how my brain works. I'm hearing this. I'm like, oh yeah, this is cool, great. Let's put the effects in yellow so we know that they're effects. Great. But I'm hearing the bass. And it switches from that thumb. It feels a little too real. Like, I don't know how to explain. It's a little documentary-like. So I'm going to use Spice Rack to give it a little bit of a oomph. That's cool. Without. Okay, same phrase. You know, got vibe. Let's check it out in the song.
Nobody knows where it comes or where it goes. And I know it's everybody's sin. You got to lose to know.
We're gonna make it a little. I'm gonna tilt the sound of the bass a little bit towards the high end.
Nobody knows where it comes or where it goes. And I know it's everybody's sin. You got to lose to know how to live. How do we have my life in books written pages? Live and learn from fools and from sages. You know it's true. All the things you do.
All right. Fab is having a wonderful Pro Tools crash. We can see him, but we can't hear him at the moment, so he's going to figure that out, and I'm going to talk to you guys. Awesome. We'll just leave him up there for comedic relief. All right. So if you're just joining, we are about 20 minutes left in this mix. Fab is mixing an entire song from the band Honey and Blue. It's their cover of Dream On, and he's doing it all with the Puremix plugin suite from start to finish. And these plugins are all included with Puremix subscriptions. So this is a carefully curated plugin list, and having a good time in the mix. Hopefully you didn't lose too much progress there. Also going on right now for Black Friday is our process.audio sale. So all of our plugins are 50% off. This is the best time of the year to buy them, but definitely the best time of the year to sign up for a Puremix subscription as well. So definitely get in there and check that out. We have some discussion going on in the chat. This is pretty cool. You guys are requesting like a community area to kind of get together. So either like a WhatsApp group or a Discord group. I'd love to hear more from you guys in the chat, which one you guys prefer, and if that's something that you're really looking for. We've had some discussions about setting up a Discord server for people, but that would just be kind of a community place for everybody to get on, chat, share their music, all that kind of fun stuff, and hopefully share some music that you're listening to. Always excited to hear what you guys are up to there. So looks like he's still working on it. We're going to give him a second and see what happens. Let's see if we have Fab's audio back yet. Hey, I can hear you.
Check.
Oh yeah.
You got me?
Got you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Don't live stream and mix from the same computer. Just don't do that. But unfortunately, there's not many other ways to do what we do efficiently. So I apologize for the slight loss of excellence right here. But do it again. We were here. Are we fully back up? Mark?
Yes, I believe that we are good to go.
Can you hear this?
All these
hear it.
lies.
Okay.
Awesome.
Just so you know, I have Pro Tools to save every minute and to keep 100 backups. So I always have an hour and a half plus of everything I've been doing. So I'm rarely lose anything. Also, I have this weird kind of thing in my head where I know what I just did. So I know that that's what I just did. And so we're here.
All these lies on my face getting clearer. The bad.
So I'm going to actually, just to even out the bass between between the muted and the non-muted. Oh, I love that amp sound. Then he goes full. Is that too much? About to find out. Let's go during the solo. I don't think it's too much. Let's see how it feels on the verse.
All these lies on my face getting clearer. The past is gone. It went by like dust till dawn. Isn't that the way?
I'm going to speed up the attack on the bass drum.
All these lies on my face getting clearer.
Sorry, I'm going to speed up the attack of the compressor of the bass drum. I apologize for my looseness there.
All these lies on my face getting clearer.
This is starting to feel pretty good. Oh yeah, I forgot that I had done this. Poof, we are back in the business. All right, I am thinking that I don't know where I'm at in time, but it feels pretty good. I'm going to give a little color to this mix.
20 minutes.
Oh, 20 minutes. Not bad for a 40-minute mix with one crash. I have this preset called Fab Mix Bus. I wonder who made that. And it's a kind of a saturation thing with a spice rack, and I really dig what it does. It's subtle, but it's pretty. Let me show you.
All these lines on my face getting clearer. The past.
Without.
All these lines on my face getting clearer.
With.
All these lines on my face getting clearer. The past is gone. It went by like dust till dawn. Isn't that the way? Everybody's got their dues in life to pay. Yeah. I know nobody knows where it comes or where it goes. And I know it's everybody's sin. You got to lose to know how to live. How to live. Half my life in books written pages. Living.
I think I went a little too far on the high end. So I was doing, sorry, I got lost into the mix there. Just doing some balance stuff so that, you know, lowering the flat of on the side stick a little bit, raising the synth for a little more control. And then I think that the synth could benefit from a little spice rack. Not this spice rack, but maybe this one. Just a little bit vibe without. With. Let's see how it feels.
All these lines on my face get.
No, bad idea. Let's try to drive. That's cute.
All these lines on my face getting clearer. The past is gone. It went by like dust till dawn. Isn't that the way? Everybody's got their dues in life to pay.
I'm gonna clip gain this down a little bit.
Everybody's got their dues in life to pay. Yeah. I know nobody knows where it comes or where it goes. And I know it's everybody's sin. You got to lose to know how to live. How to live. Half my life in books written pages. Live and learn from.
Just sped up the attack of the compressor, the Comp 2 on the mix bus for it to be a little more aggressive and give a little more density to the whole thing. Just a little bit.
From fools and from sages, you know it's true.
The saturation was a little extreme on the mix bus, so I'm taking it down a couple notches.
From fools and from sages, you know it's true. All the things you do come back to you.
right, party recap. While this was playing, at the end, clearly she was a little loud. Also, I feel that so I just automated her down. I also felt like the compressor on the mix bus was really doing the density I wanted, but also felt like because the release was a little too slow, it was kind of clamping down on the pocket, and it wasn't really feeling as good as it should. So I did that, and then I had this weird feeling, just a feeling, that at the end, when the drums start, when everything starts rocking, it's not, the drums are not shining the way they should. So I'd like to try something, and try something like this. So do another parallel just for the drums, and let's just listen to it. Then use that to give a little indirect shine, not on the direct sound, but just on that compression. Let's see. So this is without. This is now. I think that's going to do the trick. It just needs to be faster attack. I'm going to make sure we didn't ruin the vibe at the beginning because it was pretty cool.
All these lines on my face getting clearer. The past days gone.
So it's too loud. We just automate it.
Don't come back to you. Sing with me, sing for the year, sing for the laughter, sing.
So let's find a spot for here.
Don't come back to you. Sing with me, sing.
That's fine.
I know nobody knows where it comes or where it
That's okay.
comes back to you. Sing with me, sing for the year, sing for the laughter, sing for the tear. Sing with me if it's just for today, baby. Tomorrow the God will take you away. Dream on, dream on, dream on, dream until your dream comes true. Dream on, dream on, dream on, dream until your dream comes true. Yeah, dream on, dream on, dream on, dream on, dream
Let's look at those tones. Oh yeah. What's the drum? Okay, so it's the high one is to the left. Wait. Sorry, the low one is to the left. Okay. That's a little messy, so let's use messy in that it's a little too thick to do what it's supposed to do. Because from this direct microphone, we really need the attack. Okay, I'm do the same on the rack toms. I think this is where our parallel needs to come up. Seriously, pluff. That works, and I'm not 100% happy with the snare. See, that's the dilemma here. I'm happy with the snare when it's the flap.
Nobody knows where it comes or where it goes.
So in that case, what we're going to do is we're going to make 2 tracks. Make this in absurd colors so that we know that it's man-made. And then when it switched to the snare,
The things you do come back to you. Sing with me, sing for the year, sing for the laughter, sing for the tear.
and then do that.
Sing with me, sing for the year, sing for the laughter, sing for the tear. Sing with me if it's just for today, baby. Tomorrow the cloud will take you
Let's try something overt. And then parallel it in, maybe do some saturation. Without. Cool. With. That's cool. And then see if we can catch some of that body with the MEQ5, which I'd like to remind you is part of your subscription. Thank you, Universal Audio. How does this fit?
Sing with me, sing for the year, sing for the laughter, sing for the tear. Sing with me if it's just for today, baby. Tomorrow the cloud will take you Dream on, dream on, dream on, dream until your dream come true.
Okay. With this, we don't need to deal with the parallel.
Dream come true. Yeah. Dream on, dream on, dream on, dream on, dream
I'm thinking I understand the intention of this now. I think that maybe it should, it could benefit from something a little more hairy. Let's see. Pretty fierce. All right.
There it is.
Yes. I'm going
Your
to
timer
put
ran
mix
out.
up on. I'm going to put mix up on
Okay.
the mix bus just to show y'all the mix bus thing. And I'm going to create a new track called, and I'm going to, well, I have to print it. So what I'm going to do, so is this, am I done? Yeah, I can send this to the band. They can start complaining, and then we'll get it going. But my process would be now print it. So put this track in record, play the whole song, print it, and then export it, drop into Mix-Up, send the Mix-Up link to our Fearless band. They're really good. Good players, great singer. And the song, of course, we know the song has always been a wonderful song. And voila. So in summary, this mix was done 100% with the Puremix plugin suite. You don't need that much stuff. You only need a great EQ, a great transparent compressor, a great saturation compressor, like something that has like grit, like the 1178. Some sort of a mix bus compressor if you want to get level. If you're not interested in getting, having that level thing, you can do without a compressor on the mix bus. But if you want that level, you need density. So and it's nice to have it be clean. So I could have used the Oxford, but I really like the Comp 2 because I like Very Muse. And they slow things down. They make things a little have more texture. So you need that. And then you need a couple saturation boxes because everything is so clean that it doesn't sound like music to our ears if everything is so clean. So it's nice to be able to saturate things a little bit, and then Sugar and Spice Rack are good for that. So I'm just going to show you all what we used. The Oxford, the 1178, our reverb, multifaceted reverb, the 2016, super easy to use. MEQ5, EQP1A for President right here. This thing is on everything I do. This is basically my mix bus setting all the time. And then the Fearless Sugar and Spice Rack. I Knew Little Baby, Filter Factory. Ripple. Ripple's awesome. And am I forgetting somebody? And then free plugin, Protility, very useful. And yeah, that's it. That's all we used for the entire mix. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. Oh, and Decibel, to know where you live. And we live exactly in the -14 range, which is very nice for a record that's not trying to be the loudest record on earth. There you go. Up. That's the vibe. That's a Puremix plugin suite. If you have some questions, tell Mark and I'll try and answer them right now. How you doing, Mark?
Yeah, cool. Let's get them in chat. Lots of amazing comments here. We had this mix does not suck. That singer is bananas.
That singer is bananas. She's awesome. And she's
very
tasteful
cool.
too.
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of singers who can belt like this tend to lose track of what the song's about, but she's not like that.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, those high sections are pretty insane.
She's awesome.
Let's see. So we have some requests to hear the whole mix. We'll have you do that on the way out. We'll
Yeah,
have
I'll
it play us
print
out.
on the way out.
Awesome.
I'd like to hear it
And-
in entirety too.
Yeah. So guys, post your questions in the YouTube chat, and we can get some questions going if anybody's interested. We have Session Wire in the chat. They popped in to say hello.
What's up, guys?
Yeah.
So what we're gonna start doing for Pure Mixers, by the way, so you know, we're gonna start doing things like this more often, and we'll do them in Session Wire, so it's just in between us Pure Mixers, not open to the whole world. And we'll do it in Session Wire, and you'll be able to because Session Wire has a back and forth system where I will be able to see the questions. Then we'll be able to do Q&As and stuff like that. And we're ramping up this program. Probably after the madness of the holidays, then I'll start looking for songs. and doing one-on-one, well, not on one on X, depending how many of you show up, so that we can do more Q&As. And so you can see more real life mixing. And then I'm going to invite, once that system works and we know that you guys are interested, let us know if you'd be interested in that. Then I'll invite some of our fearless friends to do the thing, like maybe Rich Keller could come, and maybe Andrew could do, and a bunch of other people who are really, who have taken to share the information, and who have the technical abilities to do that in their home or in their studio. So voila. What you got for questions?
Very nice. Okay, so still gathering some stuff in here, but we do have one person who's asking, what about campus.audio? He wants to know what this campus.audio thing is that he keeps hearing about.
Okay, so check this out. Campus.audio is a new branch of Puremix. Watching video is awesome, and we've all learned by watching videos. But campus.audio is, you can think of it as an online school where intense amount of scrutiny and energy has been put into making the best courses. So the difference between Puremix, you log on, you watch, and you teach yourself. On campus, these are courses, just like if you went to university, and campus teaches you. So it's, if you want to have exercises and quizzes and knowledge checks and way more in-depth stuff that we cannot do in video only, that's what campus is for, like a real full-on course with a teaching assistant and everything. It's an online school. So campus is the online school branch of Puremix. So if you want more in-depth information, if you want to help learning, if you want to be able to interact with other people, campus is the way to do it. And we have how to listen on there. We just released the EQ course. We're a few weeks away from releasing the compression course, and those are entry level. Those are the essentials of EQ, and then there will be an advanced EQ in the spring, and then we have foundation of compression, and then we'll have advanced compression in the spring. It is important to know, even though it's called Essentials of EQ, we've tested the course on, working engineers, and they said, whoa, yeah, I learned a lot from that. So it's a very thorough course. And we also have Andrew Shep's core audio course coming in, where if you want to know everything, it's a huge thing. If you want to have a real basis of everything, the roles of people in the audio industry, from that all the way to acoustics to electronics, it's like a college level course of audio fundamentals. And then we have the Briar Eyes course, which is an enormous thing. And so if you're doing well and you're mixing and you want to learn how Briar does it, that is the way. You can think of it as the Briar Eyes video on Stun with decorations and with everything. It's crazy. The team has been working on that for a year and a half. It's a big behemoth, and it's a real course. You come out of there, you really know what's going on. So it's cool. You can think of campus as the super in-depth evolution beyond Puremix. So very good question.
Awesome. Yeah, and just to reiterate too, the EQ course that just came out is available now, and we are running a Black Friday sale on campus as well, 30% off for the next 2 days, 9 hours, 25 minutes, and 10, 9, 8.
Let's be
7,
precise about this
6.
stuff. Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah,
So definitely check it out.
I'm very proud of this course, yeah, I think if you really want to, how sometimes when you're working and then you kind of know what you're doing, but you're not sure what you're doing. You're a little guessing here and there, and then next time you're stuck, the guessing's in the way because you don't really know exactly what's going on. I designed this course so that you know what's going on. So if you have inspiration, great. But one day when you don't have inspiration, or if you're in in a situation where inspiration is not working, then having the real knowledge base will get you out of that situation. And that's what the course is for.
Very nice. Awesome.
It's a good
Okay,
one.
we had some questions come in.
Hit it.
So our first one from Deshend, we'll say, is wondering how to get a retro sound in a mix.
Well, it depends what you mean retro. I mean, if retro is could be 5 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. So I don't really know how to answer this question, but mostly you can think of it this way. You say you pick an era, say 80s, right? Or 60s. Then you have features of the sound of that time. Usually the features are either limitations of the medium at the time. So for example, if you want to do a 1930s sound, it was very low fidelity. The microphones were, they had ribbons and they had some sort of weird piezo and they had some crystal microphones. Those sounded like, right? So if that's the sound you wanted to make it sound like a 1930s album, then you put filters on it that takes the high away and takes the low away and just limits the bandwidth so that it sounds like it did because it was limited by the time. If you want to do a 60s thing, they just had discovered plate reverbs and they were using plate reverbs to insane amounts of plate reverbs on everything, right? So if you wanted to sound like, early 60s or mid 60s, then put some plate reverbs on there and then put some tape emulation on there because that's what they use, and then crank it until you get the tone that makes you feel like that. If you want to do 80s, just mute the bass. That'll do. Just like high pass the whole record, and then make sure you have really digital sounding reverbs, and then you're in good shape. Also, a Juno 60 helps in the arrangement. Just put a Juno 60 and poof, you're in 1980 something. So it's really the way to make something sound retro is to know what the medium was like at the time, and then to aim to recreate that feeling with the tools we have. It's not difficult. There are so many tools that let you do that. Filters, distortions, tape emulations. That's the way. It's culture, so you have to cultivate your knowledge of that era. And then go for it.
With this song in particular, did you feel a retro vibe in the production?
Not at all. I didn't even think of doing that.
Yeah.
I don't think the arrangement's key, right? So if this were to be made into a 70s throwback thing, then the arrangement will have to be completely different, because this arrangement is, for all intents and purposes, very modern. The way the bass is played, the way the guitars are layered, the tone of the guitar, the tone of the keys. Like, there's not two things point to any given era. Even the way the side stick is played, then switch to the snare. None of that would point to 70s or 60s. It just is an interpretation of that song from now. So this is a now band playing then music. I don't think it would be, even if I did all the filtering and all the stuff to make it sound old, it would still sound like a pastiche, or it wouldn't sound real, because the arrangement is not in the spirit of that. So I think it would be a futile undertaking, in my opinion.
Yeah. Amazing. Okay, cool. Next one is from Yankee Slinker. So when using the kick and snare crush and the extra push crush, how does Fab push the compressors without getting spill and original reverb muddying on the whole thing? As in, with your acoustic drum video.
Yeah. It's a level thing, right? So masking works with levels. So yeah, if you're gonna super compress the kick and the snare, and the kick has a lot of cymbal in it, and the snare has a lot of kitchen sink in it, obviously those levels are gonna come up. But that's what I said earlier when I was doing it. I said you got to be careful to not use too much of the kick and snare parallel. If you like the sound of it and that's where you're going, yay. But if you wanted to just add beef to your existing sounds, then you just have to be very careful to level-wise. Anything that's quiet enough will basically disappear in the sauce, and the chaos of it helps make it cool. So I think that the answer to your question is just watch your levels. You cannot not make it messy. Actually, the point is to make it messy. So if your kick and snare parallel is to get punch, you're going to slow the attack down and speed the release up. So it's going to be like this, right? Which means you're going to get a lot of the transient, which means that the sauce is going to be quieter because you get a lot of transient, which means you're not going to use as much of the track, which means all the sauce is going to be quieter. If you want density, then you're going to have a fast attack and a slow release, and that way basically it's going to make this kind of like body of chaos, and then you bring that under your kick and snare. That is going to make a mess, but maybe that's what you want. If it's not what you want, then you slow the attack down and you slow the release down, and then poof, you're back in business. But overall, it's a level thing. You got to be careful to not compress yourself into a corner.
Awesome. Okay. Next up, comment from George Nowick. He says, I've spent over 100 hours analyzing the Brouwer series, watching it over and over, taking notes, learning from it. An actual course? Oh boy, I need that in my life.
Yeah, you do. We just shot with Michael last Monday. Another probably hour and a half of clarifications, enhancement, mindset, things like that, to really make sure that whoever takes the course can absolutely learn from him and then expand their own version of that method to their taste, which is the point of the course. The point of the course is you can do exactly what Michael does, but then you can expand and just grow beyond that and make your own version. That's the point of the course. It's coming no later than very soon, or a little bit after that, but not that much after that. Yeah.
Very cool. Let's see. So our next one, I like this one. This is from Madison Perez Creates. It says, mix sounds great. What do you enjoy the most about mixing? We'll pause there. What do you enjoy the most about mixing?
I just like to be helpful. I just like to help the music shine and make the band happy.
Yeah.
It sounds very kumbaya, but that's what it is. Like, it's a very useful position to be in. Most of the time, I'm handed a song kit. It's not fully constructed, and most of the time, because I come at the end of the process, people are like, "Please, can you finish this?" I'm like, "Yeah." And so that's really nice. I really like being able to pull the whole thing together and make it feel good and tell the story of the song. To me, that's really a great privilege. I love it.
Amazing. Also, she says, what are some challenges that you run into when you get new tracks that you would advise to fix at the source of recording?
Yeah, there's always a problem. Most of the challenges, things recorded too loud, and distorting. Things recorded too close. Everything recorded too close. So you can't really connect. It sounds like cardboard most of the time. And in the case of drums are tough. I just mixed a song this week where there was as much cymbal as bass drum in the bass drum microphone. And that is just really, really tough. There's not much you can do to fix that. And so those are the challenges. The challenges most of the time, beyond just the silliness of people being overwhelmed and turning in sessions that are genuinely not ready, as in, like, did you mean to not have an ending to the song, or did you just run out of time? That happens. Or would you like an intro? Or does it really start this way? And they're like, well, we thought maybe you'd have an idea. I'm like, yeah, I do, but
yeah,
that's not necessarily mixing. This week I did a song. Okay, I did a song where this is the kind of challenges you get to as a person of service, right? I get a song where I got 4 refs, the original demo print, at the end of the live session. And then the first mix, which the artist rejected, the second mix which the artist rejected, and the third mix which the artist rejected, and which is why I was hired to do another mix, which I did, and the artist did not reject it. Yay! But so I got these 4 refs. I have information from the artist who says that they fell in love with the demo ref. Not unusual. Cool, no problem. And I get 1 session. And that session, the arrangement, the way the music was organized, the various instruments, matched none of the refs. So when I press play and I listen to the ref and I listen to the session, it wasn't the same thing. The guitar didn't come at the same place. It wasn't the same part. It was different. And I was like, well, okay, that's an interesting puzzle. So I said, maybe I got the session of the last mix, and maybe something happened between the ref and the mix, and then somebody moved some stuff around, and maybe that's what the artist doesn't like. Or maybe, I don't know. So you start mixing, do your thing. It turned out in this particular case that the artist had done some changes, and that by the way, the session did not match the mix either. So something got lost in translation there. And so I mixed the song, and they loved it, and they said, but things are coming in the wrong places. And I said, I don't know what's going on. So I spent half the mix chasing a version of the song that didn't exist, that I had to recreate. So that's the kind of stuff I deal with every day. And it gets tough because in theory, that's not my job.
Yeah.
But in practice, it tends to be, which is fine. It just takes time, and it's uncertainty, and then it makes a mess, and then you move stuff around, then your automation moves just go to hell. And then the flow that you created of the story is gone because there's a new string part here, or there's a new kazoo part here that completely disrupts the whole flow thing. Then you got to start over. So those are the kinds of challenges I deal with daily, really, genuinely.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
Takes some patience sometimes.
It does.
But you have a lot of that. Okay. She also asks, any tips for getting in-person experience in a professional studio to job shadow or get mentorship?
Yeah, that's really tough. That is very tough. That's why we invented Puremix, and because that, and the start to finish is the closest you'll get to be watching the actual process from high-level mentors. The best thing to do is to get really good, and then go where the people who make the records you like live, and ingratiate yourself with one of these people and say, can I be your assistant? But to be somebody's assistant, you have to be really useful.
Right. Sometimes getting
I can
good
make my
doesn't
own
just
coffee.
mean the,
I can totally make my own coffee. For somebody to be able to be my assistant, for me to justify having somebody there, altering my schedule so that I respect somebody else's life, teaching them, and then paying them, they need to be useful, really useful, and that's a fairly high level to come in and be that useful. So you have to really work your ass off to get to the level where you can be somebody's assistant. And then when you're somebody's assistant, you have to have the right bedside manners, you have to have the right hang, so that you're always a positive force. And then you'll become indispensable, and then you can watch. And then you get to ask questions, which is not at the beginning, because if I spend my time answering your questions, I'm not working. If I'm not working, I can't afford to pay you. So it's really, it's a very difficult balance, and it's a very slow process. But that's what I would do. If you're like in, I don't know, Sioux City, Iowa, right? There's nobody in Sioux City, Iowa who makes the records you want to make. You got to go where the people are. Even today, online, everything. If you really want to know what's going on, if you really want to have the experience, you have to be where there's a hub of that activity, and you have to make yourself be invited into that community. by being awesome, by being interesting, having something to offer, having your own scene, creating your own scene. Yeah, everybody here at Flux, there's an intern program at Flux, and it's a tough program because we have 8 studios here, so there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of crazy hours because it's New York City, and the guys who are here, guys and girls, we have 3 women on the team right now, and we have people from all over the world. And the thing is, it's really important to understand that these people come in and they're hired because they have the right spirit. So they get here because they have the right spirit. Maybe they're not at the level that we want them to be to start with, but they have the right spirits and they're useful, and they know where to park themselves in the room when there's a pop star in there. They know that stuff. And then we train them, and then they work with other people here and they create their own scene. And if they keep growing that, then they become a magnet, then they stay here, and then they get more gigs. And then sometimes somebody gets so good that I feel, okay, this person is really on their way, then I can take them as my assistant and they can help me move forward. And the last person, currently I have somebody who is my assistant. His name's Grant. He's awesome. Before that, it was Tom. Tom went on to just outgrew being an assistant and now has his own career as a mixing engineer. And he just shadowed me for like years. And he's just a badass. And now he's doing his own thing. And he's too busy to do anything for me, which is great for him. Now I have Grant. And I know at one point Grant will grow out of being my assistant because he's going to become too busy with all the other stuff. And some of the stuff I sent him that he won't have time for me. And then I'll have to find somebody else. But that's the thing. You have to come with something exceptional to offer. And then find somebody who needs that.
Yeah. I would add too, the person that you're assisting for, they're not a stepping stone either, right? Like you have to be there to help that person and not be treating it in that fashion.
It's a trade. Like I have other stuff to do than this is going to sound callous, and you have to forgive me in this thanking season, but think about it for a second. This is what I always ask. I said, what would it take for you to take a fifth of your time to teach somebody else every day the things you know in exchange for very little at the beginning? Like, what would it take? Like, just like how much altruism do you have in you that you want to do that? And then most people realize that, well, okay, yeah, it's a lot. But you only realize it's a lot once you're in it, doing it. So it really has to be an exchange. Being somebody's assistant has to be an exchange. It's not necessarily about money, because I can hire somebody who's a badass already for not that much more money. I don't have to explain anything. Everything gets done automatically. So it's not about saving money. It's about creating the right energy, having the right people come together, having a community, having great music happen. That's what matters. But if being somebody's assistant, somebody is doing you a huge favor. Don't forget that.
Yeah, and I have to do a shout out to the team at Flux, because every time I'm there, it's a reminder of they're just fierce. It's a reminder of like how high level it is and the sacrifices that they do. I mean, some of those guys, they're not kids, but I mean, some of those kids are, on the subway for hours just to get there.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. The people who are here are the cream of the crop. They're here because they are fierce.
Yeah.
And if not fierce, they can't be here.
Yeah.
But
awesome.
Then they never leave, because this is like the best place to be if you want to be badass at this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, next question from George Nowick. Some years ago, your workflow automatically included STEM groups, and you worked from there. Is that what you're doing now, or is what you're doing now an evolution of your workflow, or just a case-by-case basis choice?
Well, for this exercises, I just wanted to keep things super simple. No template, no nothing, and using only the plugins you all have access to if you're on Puremix. My day-to-day workflow involves a template with 12 stems that are bass drum, bass, guitar, synth, string, horns, lead vocals, background vocals, and then whatevers, which is everything that doesn't fit in that stuff, and all organized in folders so I can just flow quickly. So that's how I work. And then when I deliver the record, I deliver these exact stems. And if there are some synth sounds, some guitar sounds that are anthemic to the song, then I will deliver those separate at the end as separate stems. But overall, that's the MO. So I haven't really changed things. I've just organized myself so I can deliver songs to my clients, so I can deliver them in ways that is useful for their live show. Because the future of music is live, in my opinion. And so I know that anybody who works with me is going to take the work I do and turn it into a live show, either through Ableton Live stems or sampling the work to play it back into their thing, or just as a playback track to go sing on TV, you know? And so, or on YouTube or Instagram or whatever. So I've adapted my workflow so that I can deliver stems and assets to my client that are very useful to them after me. And so it creates things like, okay, the snare drum is not going to go into the reverb vocal because otherwise you can't easily print the snare and the vocal as stems without having bleed between the two of them. So I've adapted my workflow for that to be discrete. Everything has its own effects. Everything is discrete. So I basically make it into a puzzle, and then I give you the pieces of the puzzle as the artist, and then you get the pieces. And if you play all the pieces of the puzzle together, you get your record back exactly as it was when I mixed it. So that's the vibe. But otherwise, you know, if I get a straight ahead record, I'm not going to go through that because they don't care. That's not what they want.
Yeah.
Right? So if I get a straight ahead jazz record, like, you know, maybe something like this, then I'll just mix it as is, old school. But if I get pop records or future pop records or you know, reggaeton, whatever, anything that hits and that's going to end up in an arena somewhere, then I have to do that.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, cool. One more comment, one more question. So he says, you proved the old adage that simplicity is the mother of invention and that the balance is key in this mix. So
the balance is key, yeah. And I'm not, you know, it sounds good, but it's not, you know, the world-class thing. It's a 1 hour mix down quickly with the limitations of using only these plugins. But yeah, that is the thing that you can never forget. Minimum effective dose. It's like, what is the simplest way to go from A to B? If you want to go from Manhattan to Brooklyn, you have two bridges that are really useful for that. One's called the Manhattan Bridge, one's called the Brooklyn Bridge, and then there's the Williamsburg Bridge, but that's let's just say you want to go to, you know, further south in Brooklyn. Nobody in their right mind will go uptown through Queens and then go all the way around to go back to Brooklyn. You could. You'd be some nice sightseeing. You'd see a lot of other cars, mostly the back of other cars for hours. But that's not the idea. The idea is you want to go from Manhattan to Brooklyn. And so you use the bridge that's there. And you don't use the bridge and then come back and use another bridge and then go back. You just go there, right? It's the same with music. Yes, you have 18 EQ plugins. You just need one that you know that works, that sounds good, and that lets you do the thing you want to do quickly. One bridge cross from sounding bad to sounding good. That's it. Minimum effective dose. The simpler, the better. And here's the thing. If you start building chains with its 10 plugins on the mix bus or on your anything, the minute something goes wrong, you will be bypassing every plugin to try and figure out which one's the problem. And you'll find that they're all the problem because you have one that adds 5 dBs at 10K, and then you have one that makes it dark, and then you have one that lowers 2 dBs at 10K, and you have another one that have like exciter, and it's like No. You can always find a way to make something sound useful to your mix in one of two moves. Remember that those records that we all listen to were made on consoles that had one type of EQ, and where there wasn't that option, there was 3 bands or 4 bands, and that was it. And the records sound fine. Those are iconic songs, you know? And even in the more since plugins, you know, this endless tweaking habit started, I think it's dumb. I think it's a total waste of time. I think it's a distraction from the thing that matters, which is what is the story of the music, and how is it gonna grab me, and does it feel good when I look at it? You know, when you're here in your headphones or on your speakers and you pay attention to it, does it feel good? You know, nobody cares how many plugins you used on it. It doesn't matter. It's actually the real like flex is to mix a song with 10 plugins and that's it. That's the flex, because you can mix 10 songs a day at that speed. And so you have more music and you have more experience and you work with more people and you're more worldly and you're just, you know, you're a better practitioner. That's the real flex. Knowing every single EQ plugin and having presets for whatever, no, that's not the way. In my opinion. In my opinion, the simpler, the better. Everything else is distraction or a weird kind of techie form of procrastination that, you know, if I have one more plugin, then my stuff is going to sound right. No. It's like I get new plugins every day. Literally every day I get a new plugin in my inbox. Hey, dude, can you try this plugin? You know, and I'm like, nah. It's just there are some things that I need that are not made, so we tend to make those. But overall, everything is available times 10. Find the one that resonates with you, for one from each seat, right? You need one EQ clean, one EQ with vibe. The Oxford, the Pultec. One compressor clean, one compressor with vibe. The Oxford, the 1170, whatever, and maybe a Varimu for a different sound, you know, 670 or 660. Poof. Couple reverbs, one glossy digital one plate, and then a delay, because you need a delay. You don't need 17 fucking delays. One delay to roll them all. Red Bull's pretty good. That's it. You need a tape emulation. We're working on that. Just saying. And voila, that's it. That's it. You don't need anything else. And then you need good songs. Spend the time working on better songs, better arrangements. You'll get a lot more results than having 200 EQ plugins. Now, I'm saying that, but I have 200 EQ plugins for one simple reason. I get sessions with every single plugin on the planet. So I have to own every single plugin. And it's just such a burden. Because I am hired to do this, right? So if you're working for yourself, you can create your set of tools, learn the hell out of them. So they basically answer to you, whatever you want, you can do it with those tools, and then stick to that. And then if you get bored and you want a new toy, because, you know, it is what it is, then great, let's do that. But it's not an escape forward. The reason why your mixes don't sound the way you want them to sound is not because you don't have the right EQ plugin. It's because you haven't mastered the art of EQing, or you haven't mastered that EQ, or both. That's super important.
Definitely. One of my favorite sayings that I think I stole from you, but I don't want to misquote you, is that none of this shit wants to help you make music.
Yeah. This is no. It's great. It's fun. It's toys. It's awesome, but it's also a big distraction.
Yeah.
From the reason nobody was, 13-year-old in their bed dreaming that they would have 200 EQ plugins in their folder. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? No.
Right. Or
compression or reverbs or whatever. You were in your bed thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna have this band and we're gonna have great songs and we're gonna open for, you know, Michael Jackson. You know what I mean? Just like, or whatever, Doja Cat. So that's the motivation. And then we get lost in the minutia because A, it's fun. They're toys. It's fun. They're shiny and it's cool. But it's a distraction. It should be a means. The tools should be a means to an end.
Except for synths, as you say. And
except for synthesizers. except for synthesizers.
Awesome.
That's
okay,
different.
final question here. It's from DMB Sax TV. He's been hanging with us all day. Very cool. I'm sure you'll love the name. He's a sax player.
I used to be a sax player in a different life.
He used to be. Okay. He says, from this detailed explanation for the various mixes that didn't match reference mix sequences, how do you maintain burnout or fatigue with the project?
It's really, the most important thing is to look at every situation, for me, to look at every situation from the point of view of the other person. We can imagine that that person did the best they could. And we can imagine that the engineer who worked for that person, who managed that project, did the best they could. And that's the best they could do. And that's why they hired you, because they're freaking out. So you could look at it as like, really, guys, come on. That's one point of view. The other point of view is like, don't worry about it. I got it. I think I know what your problem is. Could you send me that session? Do you know what you like? Okay. If they don't know what they like, it's like, would you be interested in my feedback on what would make this sound better? Yes? Cool. Let's do that. And the burnout comes from, mostly from you. The burnout comes from you. There's this thing in this like super new age meditation, 21st century shit. But basically, essentially, every situation that happens to you, most of the pain you feel from any situation that you feel is painful is, if you analyze it from a distance, is like you generate that pain. So if your passion is to mix records, say, and that's what you want to do for a living, but you find that, you know, clients sometimes send you the records without the vocal track, or they send you the wrong session or whatever, which happens, you know, daily, and that really burns you out. What is the pain here? The pain is, hey, you sent me the wrong session. Okay, not exactly getting hit in the face with a baseball bat. You know what I mean? So the situation is really what you make it. And most of the time when I see people who are burning out on that stuff is that they have other pressures. Somebody's wasting their time by not paying attention to what's going on and sending them the song, and it's the wrong song, and they mix the song, and they spend a day mixing the song, and then it turns out the day after it's the wrong version. So they just wasted their time. And that's annoying. Time is the only currency we cannot, you know, get back. So in that particular case, you could look at it again in two different ways. A, it's your fault. You should have made sure that it was the right session. That's the way I look at it. I'm like, I have systems in place to make sure that everything is absolutely kosher. Sometimes things fall through the cracks, like me this week, right? And depending on the caliber of the artist, sometimes you can say, hey, and sometimes you can say, no, you can't say anything because that's what it is. And you're there to make it good no matter what. So, yeah, my recipe for burnout is to put systems in place to make sure that the stuff that piss me off don't happen, by being very communicative with my client and everything. The only thing that pisses me off is wasting my time. Not knowing what they want, that's what they hire me for. Having problems in the sessions, that's what they hire me for. So I can't get upset because they hire me for the stuff that is difficult. That's my job. And in that particular case, and then, you know, dealing with difficult clients, the best way to not deal with difficult clients is to say no to difficult clients. So so this is the thing, is that the pressure is financial, right? So you have this client who you know is going to be a pain but wants to pay. If you don't have the luxury of saying no because you need the money, then you're going to be in a situation where you're doing something you don't want to do. That's how you burn out. I always find that the best way to survive this is to say no, and that the burnout or the negative points on your joy of life are worth the price. And now I'm it's I already hear through the internet somebody says, yeah, well, it's easy to say in your position. I always was like that. Always was like that. I had never had a problem saying no to something I knew was going to be a pain. Even when I was so broke, I could, barely buy food. I was like, this is not worth it, because it's going to prevent me from doing something cool that's going to come in next week that I want to do with somebody great, because I'll be stuck doing something shitty with this person I don't like. And so saying no in advance to things that you know are not going to work out for you is a great way to grow your business, because it's basically weeding out the bad herbs, whatever, and then taking out the weed leaves more space for the flowers. And it really is what it is. And as a if you're a professional and you're a practitioner and you have rent, or you need to buy food from time to time, it could be a very difficult thing to do. But I find that, that's the way to make sure you only do cool shit. Also, there's this amazing thing. 90% of the time, the cool projects are with cool people. Is that amazing? And that the annoying people tend to make shit music. And so if you make shit music, you're gonna make when somebody tells you, hey, what you've been doing when you're auditioning for another gig, you've been making shit music. Not good. You're better off making great music for less money, because next time you audition for a gig, you're like, yeah, I did that.
Right. Yeah. Very.
Like, everybody's asking me how I got the Bad Bunny record. I got the Bad Bunny record. You could trace it back to the Magda record, and the Magda record I did for free.
Yeah.
Because it was awesome. Also because she needed it and she was out of money, and she's cool and the music was great. So I was like, yeah, dude, let's do it. Yeah. And I did it. And then somebody heard it and it recommended it to somebody else, and that person hired me to do a record for them, and then I got Grammy nominated, and I've been mixing everything they do since. And then in November they called me for the Bad Bunny record, all because I made that record for free 10 years ago.
Yeah. Pretty awesome.
And it was difficult to make that record. Magda's record was really intense. That was like, she was really difficult. She was going through difficult things in her life, and she was really anxious all the time. And she had this disease where she wanted to double and triple every part. And the sessions were like 250 tracks, and it was absolute chaos. And it was really, really tough. But I had decided I was going to do it because it needed to be done, because it was great music. But then
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
But then, after I did that, and I knew what her process was like, when she asked me to make another record, I said no. I can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
We're still friends.
Amazing.
But I said, I can't work with you because this is not how I want to work. Like, it's
somewhere.
There's no. Yeah.
On a drive, we have a string session from that record that I think was so complicated that we couldn't find the thread to edit it correctly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, funny.
She's so good. And now she's grown beyond that, because she's learned from this interaction with me and with other people. And now she's making awesome record in a more holistic and rational manner. So I may actually mix a record for her this winter, because I saw it and I was like, yeah, this is great. I'd love to do that.
Yeah, definitely recommend going back and checking out Magda's records too. 'Cause
Yeah,
those are
Benda,
amazing
Benda,
records.
Bagda. Totally wonderful. And that
Check it
song
out.
that led to this gig is called El Pescador. And it's on YouTube. The Fisherman.
Very nice.
Really great song.
All right, I think that we have done it. So let's do a quick recap here, guys. So it's Black Friday, and it's the best time to get a Puremix subscription. Lots of sales going on right now. Definitely look at Puremix. The value that you get in there is insane. You get the entire plugin suite that you saw Fab mix the song with today. There's Mix-Up, Mix Tank, so many things inside of that. Process.audio is also having a 40% off sale, and we have a 30% off sale going on at campus.puremix.com.
Yep.
So those are all our sales.
All in the name of turkeys.
That's right.
Yep. This is a good time to load up on knowledge. And
Yeah.
juice.
Also, I'm gonna shout out the vocal recording one microphone video one more time. I keep trying to get a rehash of this video done. You were talking about closeness on everything being recorded so closely. That video is still one of my favorites on the site, and I recommend everybody go check it out. Even though I think you recorded it in like 1964 or something.
1912. And we did actually.
Yeah.
It was done on the Titanic while it was sinking.
Nice.
But those that's just timeless.
Yeah.
That stuff doesn't change. It's been the same for 60 years. What's going on is that because of all these new tools, people get confused, and the vocal recordings are not as good as they used to be, and this tendency to record everything super close makes everything very complicated. But this one was pretty well recorded, I'd say.
Yeah, they're very good.
Very good. Shall I print
Awesome.
this?
Let's do a print. Yeah, we'll play it out. And thank you guys for watching. Thanks everybody so
Thank
much
you,
for
guys.
tuning in. Great to see everybody again. And let us know what you guys would like to see in the future in the comments. And we had requests for a Discord channel. And getting,
Yes.
community
We
like
also
that
have,
going.
there's a forum on Puremix.
Yep.
And that would be a Discord channel is nice. It's cool. It's very 21st century. But the forum on Puremix could be, you all have access to it, and it's all Puremixers, no mosquitoes, all good people who can exchange there.
Yeah,
It'd be
definitely
nice.
check it out.
All right.
I'm gonna put your screen back up, Fab. Let's print
Yeah,
this thing.
I'm gonna hit
and
record.
If you want to click around on plugins or anything to show people what was going on as it's printing. that's great.
I'll show you. Sure.
Cool.
Kind of like when your mother-in-law comes to your apartment for the first time, and then you show them the bedroom, and then you show
Check out
them
my
the
closet.
kitchen, and you make sure everything is nice and clean. Okay, let's do that.
All right, cool. This is
Here we go.
Dream On from Honey and Blue. Here we go.
Yep.
Every time I look in the mirror, all these lines on my face getting clearer. The past is gone. It went by like dust till dawn. Isn't that the way? Everybody's got their dues in life to pay. Yeah. I know nobody knows where it comes or where it goes, and I know it's everybody's sin. You got to lose to know how to live. How do we have my life in books written pages? Live and learn from fools and from sages. You know it's true. All the things you do come back to you. Sing with me, sing for the year.
All right, print one. About 1 million things that we changed in there, but sounds like music. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna name it Dream on camera Fab Mix 1.0. Pardon. Poof. And then I'm gonna export it like this. I have this folder called Fab Mix Exports that I create for this purpose. Poof. And then I'm gonna go to Mix Up and make a new track. There you go. And it's up on Mix Up in a second, and I'll get the link and I'll send it to you so you can put it in the comments and people can go listen to this first mix on Mix Up,
Perfect.
which also comes with your Puremix subscription, which is nice. It's very nice.
Pretty amazing. Phone app and all that stuff too. So
Yeah, it's great. Mix Up saves lives, or saves my life every day. So there it is. I'm gonna share it. I'm gonna make listener only, open, and sending you the link right now, dude.
nice. And then I'm going to drop it in the comments for you guys, and we'll put it up in the description as well.
There you go.
We did
Et
it.
voilà. Yeah.
Turkey Day.
Gobble, gobble.
Or in your case, Lamb Day.
Lamb day. I don't know.
That's good. Awesome. All right, everybody. So yeah, check out the Black Friday sales. Thank you so much for tuning in. Fab, thanks for doing the mix. That was rad.
Guys.
Insanely good in 1 hour. Very cool.
All right.
All right.
Have a
We'll
nice
see
weekend.
everybody
See you soon.
Very soon.
Ciao.
Bye.